This post is just a follow up to one of the questions I got not even 14, 15 minutes ago. It was the question of what's the normal radiation level in the water on average. And by what I see, some of the readings that are posted that I can see are like 35 nanosieverts, or anything less than 100 Barclay Barclays of radiation. So I'm thinking it's probably around 30 or less on the average. And currently it's at 70 something, 72 or 79. At least that was as of last Friday, so I can't say currently like today. But they were reporting of a Barclay reading of like over 300 and something, which is dangerous for adults. So with that being said, my question still remains: how is it that you can reduce that level of radiation that's over 300 Barclay, or however you say? I don't know how you say the correct terminology, but um, it starts with a B. Barclay is what I guess that's what it looks like to me. I don't know how to pronounce it. My pronunciation's not that good, but 300 is not good for you. But then at the same time, they have the Japanese news channels, like I said, NHK, and there's another channel I watch here too. Kind of have to do a little bit of translating back and forth, but basically they were saying that yeah, the water is high at 70 something, or if it was higher, like at 300, you would still have to drink basically 4.6 liters of water every single day, 365 days a year, to see any kind of radiation effect. So that's kind of what I was getting at, is how is it that the gut, it's kind of like a mixed message that they're giving the people. Like one minute they're saying don't drink the water, or be cautious of the water. They don't necessarily say don't drink the water, but this is what the ratings are. But and then the next day, oh, by the way, it's down. It's back below safe for infants now. Infants, their level here was 100, I think. But I see reports too, like they raised that level, um, but it's still safe according to the college's professors of nuclear science. So, but I don't know. It's hard to say around here because the government is very, I don't know how you say it. They're not trusted. The Japanese people don't trust them, and especially whenever you change your story the next day and radiation levels drop dramatically. It's kind of unbelievable. Like okay, so where's Superman hiding at, or some of the X-Men people that can bend water, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that to me. Some of the reports that come out, like that, the radiation levels in the storage tanks outside the nuclear facility 1 minute or at 10 million, or well, that was in the not the storage tanks per se, but that was still a very high amount, like millisieverts. I think they were saying it was in the several thousands level in of millisieverts worth of radiation coming from the water containing plutonium in it. Um, but how is it that you can go one day with extremely toxic water and the next day it's not toxic or it's reduced? So it's kind of like telling someone that they have that it's a burn victim, right? Third degree burns. You're burned really bad all over your body, boils everywhere. The first day, yeah, you're hurting pretty freaking bad, and the next day, oh, it's only half as bad. Don't worry, your boils aren't as bubbly as they were before, or blisters or your melted skin, it had grew back overnight. Yeah, you're good in a 24-hour period. I don't think so. I've never experienced a third degree burn, but I've seen quite a few videos on them, and it ain't pretty at all. But that's what I'm trying to get at. It's not really the same comparison, but I'm trying to get what my point is how can something so drastic and so contaminated be reported one thing 1 minute, and then the next day, 24 hours, it's still the same chemical that is extremely lethal in mass quantities go down drastically. Barclays, the word was Barclays that I was trying to get to. Um, some report like I look at NHK all day long, and I read NHK World, and I try not to watch any of the other news. The reason why I stick with the government one is because as of right now, everything that comes from the Japanese side is exactly blown out of proportion on the US side or any other news outlet. They'll take keywords like dangerous substances or dangerous levels and kind of exasperate those words to say, oh my God, dangerous levels of radiation have been found, and it is extremely toxic in that area. So you see, like just pausing or just saying, just adding more emphasis on those keywords of extremely dangerous or extremely toxic or whatever can get people thinking like, oh my God, in the States, and people start panicking. So, and that probably is what had happened to a lot of the English speaking people that have left that watched the CNN Japan here, which is an English site. I've seen it, and I've seen misled media and all kinds of stuff. So it's all about ratings, and that's what I see on any news channel. It doesn't matter if it's CNN if you're a CNN fan, Fox if you're a Fox fan, MSNBC, or any news channel. They're trying to get ratings, so they try to do that twist to get you going to thinking like, oh my God, it's the end of the world, Japan's sinking. It's not sinking. It might have grew, I guess, according to their numbers. It got a little wider up there, and I guess altered the axis of the Earth, which doesn't make much sense, but I guess I guess it's possible. I'm not sure. I'm not like I said, I'm not a geologist guy or a nuclear physicist or anything like that. I'm just a plain Jane run of the mill engineer. That's all I am. And as you guys see probably from a lot of my videos, I'm most of the time I don't post anything um, commentary. Not really. If it is, it's mostly comedy, or I try to do things for fun. That's the only reason why I mess around with YouTube is it's my breakout of reality from the norm and break out of my shell and kind of share. Now that I'm in Japan, I kind of share a lot more of myself and my family and what I do. Try to add a little bit of comedy, stuff like that, but I'm nowhere near trying to be political or one-sided on anything. I'm not that way. But when I see obvious lies and stories being manipulated, because you look at the ratings and look at the measurements, they're saying 35 nanosieverts. Nanosieverts is extremely, extremely small. We're not talking about microsieverts or millisieverts. We're talking about nanosieverts. If you look at the math, it's extremely small. It's very small. But when you put it as a big number, like a whole number, like 35 or 10,000 times the normal level, then you start, or well, what they were saying was 100, no, it was 10 million times above the normal level detected in the basement of the number 2 reactor. That's a huge number, but you have to look at what is the normal level. They don't tell you what the normal level, but even then, it doesn't matter what the normal level is at that number, like 10 million times. That's huge. It's huge. I mean, but still, I mean, I guess it just depends on where you're getting your news from, and then don't just read the news for what it is or listen to the news for what it is. Do your own research. Find out what it's, find out if it's real. Go to people that aren't blogging shit, and go to people who are actually like, doctors, physicists, people who are in that field, who wrote books, published something, that have accreditation to what they say. Even me, don't listen to everything I say. I'm just sharing my thoughts. That's all. Just go look it up. I'll just give you a little tidbit information that I get from, my point of view and what's going on, my little bit of research, but go do your own. I'm by no means telling anybody that I'm right, because I'm probably not. 90% of the time, I don't claim that I'm right. But I'm saying that a lot of stuff that I see is definitely not right. So, like boiling water to get radiation out, that doesn't work. So, that's all I gotta say. Have a good night.